Hello, welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil. This game again was filmed out in Toyman in Poole. For this video, I am joined by...
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Fergus, and I'm going to be talking about Star Wars and X-Wings.
Excellent.
I'm back again. Woo.
You are back on the channel, which is fantastic. Now, you're going to be talking about X-Wing the game, but it doesn't look like we have X-Wings on the table.
We have a wing of some sort. We have the K-Wing, and we have 3 of them, so that should be interesting to see. 3 K-Wings again, but not flown by you this time, so slight difference.
Absolutely. For those of you that have been watching the channel from the start, you may remember that we did have triple K-Wings on the board in Game 1. There will be a link up above for that. But this time, Quinn is using the triple K-Wings against me to see if he can get a little bit of revenge on me.
It's come full reverse. He was playing against you when you used the 3 Kenworth. You used the 3 K-Wings.
Indeed. So, on the subject of Quinn's K-Wings, what's he running?
So we have the 2 named pilots for the K-Wing and 1 generic. In the orange K-Wing, we have Miranda Donny with K2SO, not perceptive co-pilot. The overlay is slightly wrong. Han Solo, multi-missile pods, and a shield upgrade. Flying alongside her, we have, I can't pronounce that name, so I'm going to give it a go, Tekuki, that'll do, with perceptive co-pilot, concussion bomb, skill bombardier, barrage rockets, and advanced slam. And in the green, we have Warden Squadron pilot with more Star Wars names, hard to pronounce. Magva Yarrow, Diamond Borer missiles, advanced slam, and advanced proton torpedoes. So we see all 3 of the double missile slot taking missiles.
We do indeed. So it's a very heavy-hitting list. Good work on Magva Yarrow. You got that right. The other one is a little bit difficult. Some people call him a Sigi, some people call him a Sigi. We'll just call him Red for this because...
Call it Rafiki like the Lion King.
You know what? Let's do that.
Oh,
okay, so what I'll do, I'll run through my list. So I have the TIE Brute in the flavour of Rampage. He's running synced laser cannons, target assist MGK 300, and expert handling, making all of his actions white and using that calculate and the synced laser cannons really nicely. We have 3 Sigma Squadron Ace TIE Phantoms, all running Deadeye Shot, because I did not have enough points to fit Duke on all of them. So I went with Deadeye Shot instead because, you know what, that is a cracking little talent slot upgrade there for 1 point. So
it's replaced what Crackshot was, and it's for 1 point, it's quite a steal.
Oh, I think it's so much better than Crackshot. It's really good. I mean, Crackshot's gone up in points as well for a start, and it's only 1 use. This, I just think, is absolutely brilliant. And again, it fits really well on the Phantom in that little swarm list. So,
I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I'd quite like to try it on a Nantech or a wing, because you can just because 2 talent slot and just put marksmanship and Deadeye Shot, so you can just be turn 1 to a crit and then demote it back to a hit, and then suddenly you become Malik Steel. So,
oh, absolutely! I think it's just such a great upgrade to have there, and especially if you've got the dual talents where you can have marksmanship and Deadeye. That is quite cool and quite powerful. We haven't actually seen that yet, but it's definitely something I want to run.
I might try it on Jake in the A-wing. That sounds like a barrel of laughs.
I think it would.
Or Arvel, because he can just bump into people, so he's more likely to get the bullseye.
Yeah, I mean, bumping into people does make it a lot easier to get that bullseye, so definitely worth having a look. But yeah, so we've got 2 very different lists here. We've got a very munitions-heavy list on Quinn's side, and much more manoeuvrable and sort of a little bit glass cannony with the Phantoms, but definitely more manoeuvrable on my side. So yeah. I know that you play Rebels and you don't tend to do Empire, but which list are you quite liking the look of?
I mean, you see 3 ships, 3 lots of 2 ships, which you don't see often, and they are the K-Wing and the TIE Phantom. Loving the paint job which you've done, making them look cloaking.
Thank you very much.
Done something similar on my Sith Infiltrator, but not the same. I don't know. I just think the fact that Miranda can shoot twice, once with once with her turret, and once with Han Solo, that could be quite. And once with the missiles and Han Solo, that's going to be deadly. And
Yeah,
if she gives the calculate to herself, then does a blue maneuver, just stacking the actions. Yeah, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But I don't know. I just think the whole cloaking shenanigans will be quite funny, and I think and the one evade dice on a K-wing would just make them easy picking if you fly correctly.
yeah, I think that's one of the downsides with the K-wing. They're obviously quite a bulky ship, a lot of health there with 10 on Miranda and 9 on Asiji or Rafiki and 9 on the Warders. There's a lot of health to take out, but again, they've only got that one evade, which the Phantoms absolutely love. I know obviously this would be an ideal situation to have Duke there, but again, Duke is very expensive and you can't fit that on the list. But I mean, I love the fact that we have triple K-wings on the table again. I think it's one of those ships that people either love or hate, and I love the K-wings. I think they look cool. I think the dial actually isn't too bad for them. I think what you can do with them is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They could do with like a new config card just to give them a bit more, something a bit different. But I think overall, I'm a big fan of the K-wing.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ships that could. It's quite Marmitey, but I quite like. What was I thinking? I like Miranda's ability, how you can just spend a shield and then get an extra dice, and it's a bit like R2D2, but without the downside.
Yeah.
So that could be quite deadly, especially with a shield upgrade. It's a bit like what's his face from the First Order, Quick Draw. That's a banana.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it allows you to, the only negative is like one less shot. There's no, like, you can't not shoot like with R2 where you get the disarm, which is quite cool. So it'd be interesting to see if that ability comes into play.
I was thinking more crude R2D2 who makes you expose a damage card, but
oh yeah, there is that as well.
But that could also come back to bite you. So
yeah, to be honest, there's so many different variations of R2D2 nowadays. It's quite hard to try and keep up with which one is being used.
There's one on every light side faction, which is brilliant. There's 2 on the Rebels, so that's always fun to play with.
Yeah, so that is quite good. It looks like we've got a bit of a dance at the moment, a measured approach from Quinn, making his way up to the top of the board. And I've stuck very much down to that bottom side there. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for us to actually get an engagement.
Probably. I mean, you mentioned how the K-Wing dial is not the best, but I think it's very similar to the H&P dial on the Separatists, how it has no way of turning, but the way the H&P turns is with its Talon rolls, not Talon rolls, side slip.
The side slip, yeah, which is really cool. Unfortunately, the K-Wing doesn't have that. It doesn't have a K-turn, but
has a bow tie cannon.
It has a bow tie cannon, and also it can slam. So although it can't turn around as quickly, it can actually do that slam action, which does mean that it can get around. It does unfortunately disarm the ship for that turn that it has slammed. But again, it's still quite good there. And as we can see, Quinn is already utilising that slam quite heavily. And it means that those ships can move really quickly up the board. I mean, that was a too hard to a too hard. And with that medium base, that just gives it that extra little range there. So they can move quite sharp.
Yeah, I think it gives you extra mobility, which the K-Wing is lacking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at some of the upgrades. I'm surprised K2SO's on instead of C3PO, because C3PO gives you more variety and can boost your defense dice, because you can just say, I'm going to roll no evades, and then you're guaranteed to get at least one.
Yeah, so I mean, that is it's an interesting choice there. I think with K2SO, it's guaranteeing that calculator, knowing that you can just blue maneuver after to negate the fact that you've got that stress on there. I'm just having a quick look at the points for C-3PO, and I mean, that could be the reason we don't actually see him.
This was filmed before the points update when K2SO and C-3PO were the same price, so
True.
they were both 8
Yes.
points. K2 has now gone down to 7 points, which is still quite a fair few points, but does give you jam as well as the calculate action.
Yeah, so again, at the time of recording this video, they were the same points, so I think it was a specific choice there. And also with K2SO, you don't actually have to do it on yourself either. So K2SO, you can do it on any friendly ship at range 0 to 3.
Yeah, I think theoretically that would work with I still can't pronounce it, Eseju, but her ability only works with focus and evades focuses, right? Not calculates or any green tokens. So
yeah, Eseju works with focuses, so it wouldn't necessarily work as well there. But again, it's just another way of being able to modify your dice.
yeah.
But it looks like Miranda is definitely taking the faster, harder approach in there, and Eseju and the Warden Squadron are definitely keeping more to the back.
Who has priority in this matchup?
So I actually have priority in this matchup. I had the initiative. The only time that really takes effect is when Miranda's actually shooting normally herself. She's the only I4 on Quinn's side. So I did have initiative for this game.
She does have the benefit of having Han Solo, which means you shoot first. But
yeah,
I guess it makes sense that you have her shoot first, and then hopefully get a cheeky multi-missile pods as a initiative shooting.
Yeah, so use Han Solo, see if you can strip some tokens or shields off, and then go in with those missiles. It is quite nice, quite handy double tap. And a double tap on any ship really is pretty good, especially unlike Corin Horn. With this one, it wouldn't disarm you to do it, so that's quite handy.
It's a shame there's no way on the Rebels to get rid of that disarm with Corin Horn, so because there's no Rebel Plo Koon. So.
Yeah, it might be something we see in the future. Obviously, with Atomic Mass Games taking over production of X-Wing, there's many things that they could look to introduce off the back of that. Obviously, we're still waiting to find out exactly how that's going to look for us all. We've had the last wave of the FFG releases now, with the ETA 2 finally making its way to the UK after about a fortnight's delay. So hopefully we'll be seeing that on the table soon. Yeah, I mean, there's still lots of things that they can do. And on the subject of new things that they can bring in, a lot of new announcements have been made by Disney for the Star Wars franchise. New TV shows, new movies, including Rogue Squadron, which I am so excited about. You cannot believe.
Should be interesting. I wonder when it takes place. Would it be after Revenge of the Sith or after?
Well, Rogue Squadron, it should really be taking place around the Galactic Civil War, so the original trilogy, as that's when Rogue Squadron was formed. Depends on how much they take from the Legends continuity, as that's where the Rogue Squadron novels are from. And if they do it like that, it was set after Return of the Jedi, and essentially mopping up the Imperial Moffs to bring more peace and order to the galaxy. But I'm really excited for it. And what I'm curious about is, will they do a Rogue Squadron pack around the time of release?
That would be interesting. But I believe, wasn't Corin Horn a member of Rogue Squadron?
Corin Horn was indeed a member of Rogue Squadron. In Legends continuity, he was actually the grandson of a Jedi. So he was part of Rogue Squadron, and then he left to become a Jedi with Luke Skywalker, and actually was part of the Jedi Council.
See, I think there are two pilots from the Change the First edition who were Jedi, who no longer became Jedi. They were Corran Horn and Kyle Katarn.
That is correct. In fact, both of them were on the Jedi Council with Luke, and yes, they were both Force sensitive. So it's a bit of a shame. Yeah.
They'll do something interesting. So it might be that, I'm sure they might just have Corran Horn and X-Wing, and that would still be quite cool to see.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a great pilot in the E-Wing. He was a lot better in first edition than in second edition, unfortunately. I think in second edition he gets sort of a little bit left behind in the E-Wing chassis. But I'm really excited for Rogue Squadron. There's so many other things I'm excited for as well. Not just for the actual TV shows themselves, but what kind of impact that could have on the Star Wars miniatures games. What could we be seeing in Legion? What could we see in Armada? What could we see in X-Wing as well?
It's a good question. I feel hopefully some Rogue Squadron things, hopefully some Bad Batch things for the Clone Wars.
Definitely.
Quite likely there'll be a bit of everything. So.
Yeah. Well, after seeing the Bad Batch trailer, I reckon there's a couple of ships I spotted in there that I was like, wow, we're definitely going to be getting those at some point then. Like their little shuttle, which I think we're overdue getting for the Republic anyway.
I feel like they're more likely to either do Palpatine shuttle or the Jedi Commander shuttle. Because the Republic had 3 to 4 shuttles. They liked their shuttles.
Yeah, they did have a lot of shuttles, and we've seen most of their sort of fighter-style ships now. I think the only one we're really missing is the original Z95.
Oh, yeah.
And possibly like the variations of some of them, like the Yoda Eta 2 and the Azure Angel, are the only real variations that we haven't seen yet. So, but again, it'll be interesting to see what we get out of this. But it looks like we might be getting close to having some shooting.
Hopefully, or he's doing a 1 forward, maybe not.
We will see. Definitely check the range on that in a moment. Now, this was a game that I did plan on using a dice cam for. I did actually try and get recording for that. Unfortunately, the dice cam failed, so that's a bit of a shame. So there's no rolling on the table. Luckily, myself and Quinn were quite clear on what dice results we had, so I have been able to keep up to date with the dice and actually digitally add them to the screen. So when we get our first round of shooting, you'll see exactly what I mean. Actually makes it probably clearer than any of the other dice that we've ever had on the channel, because you know exactly what they are.
After several hours of painstaking work.
Yes, it did take quite a lot of time to actually get that set up, but worth the effort, as I hope you'll agree in a moment. But yeah, that was just outside of range 3 there from the Phantoms to Miranda, but they are continuing to slam their way across the board.
Yeah, I'm unsure if he's either making you follow Miranda and then have the rest of the K-Wings come in and take the Phantoms down, or is Quinn trying to do something interesting and have Miranda just suddenly do a sudden hard move and take the Phantoms out?
I mean, with Quinn, sometimes you never actually know.
No.
He's so the level that he thinks of the game at sometimes it is impressive. He can come up with some really, really good maneuvers that you just don't expect. And when they come off, they work really well.
We had a game yesterday where we both flew Rebel Fen just just to see what he's like, and it was one of the weirdest / interesting games that we've played.
So Rebel Fen,
he's underrated. I think his abilities, you can't work around it, but I just think having an I6 is quite, alongside Wedge and Luke, is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Rebel Fen came out for Rebels in the first edition, and that card was so wordy, but it was so good. Everyone used him.
I think I first got it. And I was like, oh, I know what I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly Ezra and Maul because that just sounds fun. And then I was just looking at Fen. I was like, I'm so confused. I'm just gonna stick with Ezra because I know how to fly him.
Yeah. He's definitely an easier ship to manage, but Fen again, really, really cool to have him in the Rebel faction. So I'd be very surprised if we don't see some shooting here. Now, if you were flying the K-Wings, where would you be trying to put them right now?
Not off the board, I think, is a good place to start.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So we have a bumping with the green K-Wing, but that's not too bad. I think worse things have happened.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, what happened there with that early move, having to try and get a Sigi around the rock, messed up the order in which they were actually moving. So it means you've got your I2 moving first, but he's in the back, and then your I3 moving, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
Especially with a ship like the K-Wing, who can be, I wouldn't say they're the hardest to fly, but again, limiting. It's definitely easier with other ships. And again, being medium-based ships, they take up a lot of room.
Yeah. I think it's also good that Quinn moves after, because he can line up the bullseye arc to use barrage rockets as well as multi-missile pods.
Yeah.
Because they're two attacks that like to be in bullseye for either extra rerolls or extra dice.
Absolutely, they're really good missiles there, and I'm a big fan of barrage rockets on the K-Wing, being one of the few chassis that can actually run them, but I really like them. I mean, Quinn's doing the Perceptor co-pilot barrage rockets, which I think is the right way to do it, meaning that you've got that focus for defense, but then you keep that focus to use the barrage rockets. So it looks like I've sort of thrown my hat in to say I would like to go for Miranda, hoping that she doesn't fly past me.
I think it's more likely that Miranda will fly off the board than she flies past you. Like, she's quite likely just to do a one bank and just 1 to 2 bank and just rotate her arc.
No, I think at this point, I think Quinn definitely knows that he needs. Yeah, there we go. There's the 2 hard that keeps him on the board.
It does have a 2 hard. I was wondering.
Yeah.
I know it's one of those weirdly restricting dials, but has some interesting mechanics on it.
Yeah. So right now, I think the debate is slam or not slam. Would you say stay there, get some shots off, or would you slam to get out of the way? Because then at this point you've got 4 shots coming in at you.
Oh, that's difficult. I'm not sure actually. Weirdly, I'm probably going to go slam.
Yeah, because if you slam, you can't shoot. But if you don't slam, you've got 2 phantoms with bullseye.
Yeah, that's dead eye shot.
Yeah, you've got Rampage there, and you've got that 3rd phantom, which might just sneak bullseye in at the back there. Oh yeah, we are getting a slam.
Yeah, it's because if you do the slam, you're more likely to have Rampage's effect go off, which isn't the best. Especially on a ship of 1 of age, you don't want to have a strain token. But hopefully we get some shots from. I'm just the I3 Mr. Red person. I'm just giving up now with some barrage rockets because I think I doubt that she has a bullseye, but it'd be nice if she does.
Okay, so it looks like what's happened there is Rampage has used his target assist to get a calculate. Now, I will hold my hands up here and say that that's actually wrong.
You're
Should
stressed.
not have got that. I'm stressed, yes.
Yeah.
So
is it perform the calculate action or is it gain a calculate token?
Gain a calculate token when you're not stressed.
Okay.
But there I managed to get a hit crit anyway without having to use it. So it didn't actually affect the dice rolls there.
Yeah, but did you use your synced laser cannon?
Yes, but it was at range 2.
Okay, that's fine then.
So it's fine. So what we've got now is the green phantom taking a shot at the K-Wing.
Okay.
And we have 2 hits and a blank.
Still quite good.
And that's another blank.
Stereotypical.
Yes. So that's
It's
a lot of damage going into Miranda there.
Yeah.
Just waiting for that to update on the overlay, but that was 4 damage.
See,
and a damage card.
Yeah. Now, is the hard 2 on the K-Wing blue, or is it white?
It's white.
Oh, okay. I was saying he could have K2'd and given himself some mods for defense, but then he would have been able to slam, so...
Yeah. And looks like we've got the barrage rockets coming back. Not in bullseye, fortunately for blue there.
It's still 3 dice, but I believe you... Did they have a natural for 3 dice, or was it 2 dice?
Natural 2 dice.
Okay, so it's better.
Yeah. So 2 dice on the evades, which isn't too bad. When it's cloaked, obviously that goes up to 4, but you don't really... It's very rare that you're going to try and keep yourself cloaked. And that's a blank out.
Yep.
Not what Quinn wanted to see there at all. Hoping to get some early hits in there on that Phantom.
I think every dice he's rolled has been a blank so far, hasn't it?
Yes. Quinn has not had much luck with those dice so far.
I'm not sure he's had any.
And the Warden Squadron is out of range there.
Hey. See. Oh, that's going to be interesting, because Rampage wants to be getting rid of that stress, but I feel like he wants to do a 3 to 5 or 3 to 4, do something fast so he could give strain to Miranda, so the easy picking for the Phantoms.
To be honest, although that's quite a handy thing to have, it's not something I regularly play for with Rampage. So again, it is good, but
it's like flying a Y-wing. You don't really want it to be stressing itself out, because most of the 3s that would be good in that situation are red.
Yeah. I mean, if I'd have taken the maneuver assist, then that would make them white. But with this, I think, to be honest, I'm more wanting to get that calculate.
Yeah, you're more likely to see the target assist than the movement assist.
Yeah. Right, so where do you think everything is going now, then? What do you think is the target of the priority target?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. The Empire, I'll definitely say just get Miranda off the board as soon as possible. But I feel like she's going to be rolling less dice just to get her shields back.
Yeah. So you think try and take Miranda out first, then come back for the other 2?
Yeah, that'd be the best plan.
I'm assuming you think Quinn's going to hope that is going to happen, then he tries to follow up with his other 2, so is he in the Warden?
Yeah, I think he's planning on doing like a pincer between one K-Wing and the rest.
Interesting. I can definitely see something like that being quite good. So we've got K2SO there, stress calculating Miranda.
Oh, she has given it to herself. Okay. That's because you were checking for range if you can give it to Siege. So
yeah. Let's see where the decloak is. There's a decloak forward.
Okay. Get close to the board edge.
It's fine.
They have a 1 hard, don't they? They're not.
They do
Okay.
indeed. The Phantom Candy Cane, which is quite topical this time of year, getting close to Christmas.
I mean, what ships are you hoping to get for Christmas? Big question.
What do I want for Christmas? Well, there's not many left that I need, to be honest. But if Santa was to bring me Jango Fett Slave 1, I'd be very happy with that.
It is a very nice ship. You can tell from the unboxing I did a week ago.
Yes, so thank you very much for that, Fergus. That was very much appreciated. You doing that unboxing for me.
It's all right.
And the channel.
quite.
And
It's a good ship. I like it.
yeah, it does look really cool. And I think the Slave One, I did see someone debating whether they should be buying Slave One or the Sith Infiltrator for the Separatists. And I kind of had to say to them, I think Slave One has more utility. I think the Sith Infiltrator is cool, but I just think if you're going to go for something...
Oh, that's a hard one. I think you want the Sith Infiltrator for just the crew members. Just say, I have Count Dooku and I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Because Count Dooku, if you put it on the right ship, is very destructive.
Yes, I have seen how powerful he can be.
Did I do any nasty shenanigans with Count Dooku at the tournament when we had our game? Because you had a couple of ships with 1 evade dice, which I wanted to roll a blank.
I think unfortunately in our game there, Fergus, you didn't really get a chance to, which was the shame.
Yeah, I think I was more preoccupied with using it for my defense because you always shot first. Yeah,
because you had the lower initiative, so I was shooting first in our game, and we had a lot of ships between us. So, I mean, I had 5 on the table. How did you have 6 or 7?
I had 5.
You had 5. So there was a lot of ships on the table with me shooting first. I think you were definitely preoccupied in trying to keep yours on the board a lot longer.
I mean, it was just Obi-Wan. It's Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he is good.
He's very good. He's one of those pilots who I don't like.
Well, it's all right. You probably like him about as much as he likes flying.
Yeah. I would like to see a Ben Kenobi if they ever do that in a card pack.
That'd be quite cool.
I think we need more crew members from the original trilogy. So
yeah, I mean, we might see it. I mean, the thing is, he was hidden away, but we've got the Obi-Wan TV show coming.
Yeah.
So again, we might.
Hayden Christensen's coming back to play Darth Vader, which would be interesting.
I'm gonna hold judgment until I see it. I think it'd be okay.
I don't blame him for Anakin. I blame the script. So
yeah,
I thought it's a mixture of the two.
Yeah, I mean, you can only work with what you've got, can't you?
Yeah.
So it looks like we're ignoring Miranda.
Okay.
And coming straight down in on the Warden Squadron.
To be honest, I think it's more likely that Miranda's going to do a slam or something. So.
Yeah, I definitely think now she's going to be wanting to look at doing a slam. She's going to be looking at that, going, you know what? I want to get myself turned back around.
Or she could just do a hard turn and then have a good shot on Rampage where everyone else shoots.
You got to be careful of that debris field there, though. And also, her arc is front to back. Although doing that one soft could mean that she could get a backward shot off there.
And she also loses the stress from K2SO.
True.
Another interesting thing now, they've now made it that if you're in range 1 to 2 and your enemy ship is in the bullseye arc, you can jam them if you have the jam action. So it's not just limited to range 1.
That's good. They did quite a lot of updates recently.
Yeah. I mean, jam's is one of those weird abilities. Like, you've seen it be very good with cards like Hundo or Agent Terric. But I don't know, I think the extra range boost is nice.
Yeah, it's still an action that I very rarely use.
Yeah.
So we've got Han Solo from Miranda there shooting, so 1 hit, 1 evade.
I mean, your dice are liking you quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, the dice are being quite favourable to me at the moment. So we're going to get long range shot from Rampage again.
You did not. I mean,
again, I misread the card. Now, in my defence, this was the first time that I had actually flown Rampage. So sometimes when you're flying a new ship, it's easy to mix up some of the rules on there. So, pro tip: read the rules.
I mean, there's a pro tip, and then there's getting dice rolls like that. So,
hey, I mean, pro tip: just roll good. roll good and hope your opponent rolls bad.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So that's 3 shields off the Warden. We've got Phantom Orange, who's not in bullseye. 2 hits and a blank. And that's 2 blanks. So we should probably start a tally somewhere of how many times Quinn doesn't roll a blank. Because at the moment that's less than the times he's rolled blanks.
I feel like when... I know. I'm surprised... Has Quinn used Magba's ability to get a lock on Rampage?
No, he hasn't actually.
That's annoying. He might. It might be that he already has a lock on Rampage, but I feel like on an IT pilot like the Warden Squadron with little dice, Magba's quite a good crew to have.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks like Deadeye Shot has been used to expose the damage card, and it's a fuel leak.
Oh no.
And then there's the Focus, debating whether to spend it, because currently he'll be taking 2 more damage at the moment. So spend it to only take 1, or hope that you can maybe use it later.
What missiles does he have? Diamond Boron.
He's got the Diamond Boron, so...
I'm not sure. Diamond Boron isn't... Diamond Boron's the ones that can give hits to other people.
Yeah, they affect everything in within a certain area. Again, I've not really used them very often. If I'm using missiles or torpedoes, it tends to be barrage rockets. Cluster missiles is quite a nice one.
They're good. I know. I do like an energy shell charge, but that is a separatist exclusive.
Yes, because you're a dirty separatist.
Oh, no, whoa! I wouldn't go that far. I think that you have to. They are a faction which the advanced players use, or people who are lazy and don't or can't think of good lists like me.
Fair enough. We'll let you sit in whichever category you think you sit in.
Smart one.
So looks like another Deadeye trigger to expose another damage card.
Ooh.
And that's another fuel leak.
Oh! Hang on a minute. They don't. No, they do stack. Hang on a minute. That's gonna be.
Ooh, let's have a read off the card and see. So,
Robert, it says when you suffer a crit. So,
after you suffer 1 critical damage, suffer 1 regular damage and repair this card. So you wouldn't repair both. So if he gets 2 crits, that's him gone essentially. But when I read it,
if he gets 1 crit, that's him pretty much gone.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if it's a double damage.
Oh, definitely. So
looks like we're getting a shot from a Sigi into Rampage.
Ooh.
So that's 1 hit. And that's a blank.
Okay, so your dice are starting to betray you. What's the crit?
Absolutely. The crit is Wounded Pilot.
Yeah, not a good one.
Not a great one, no. So, Wounded Pilot, after you perform an action, roll 1 attack die. On a hit or crit result, gain 1 stress token.
Not the best, not the worst. I think most of the pilot ones are slightly naff, so I mean...
Yeah, I mean... The ones you definitely don't want to be getting a panic pilot, especially if you've got a maneuverable ship. Just double stress is frustrating. The only people that probably like panic pilot are B-wing pilots, who suddenly go, "You're giving me stress? Okay, thanks." Like Braylon and 10 Numb.
I think mainly 10, because 10 spends them, whereas Braylon likes to have 1 and 1 only.
Yeah. Stun pilot can be a bit of a tricky one. But I think Panic Pilot's probably the worst one, and then because all of them can be, all of them except for Stun Pilot can be repaired. Because Panic Pilot repairs itself essentially, getting 2 stress and repair this card. So Blinded Pilot and Wounded Pilot, you can repair it.
I think stunned pilot can be annoying when you play against separatists because when you have structure, you say that you ignore obstacles. You ignore the effect of obstacles. So that one's a weird one. It can go either way. We say, do I take a damage or do I not take a damage?
Yeah.
I think more often that you do take a damage because the other player's salty that you're playing separatists. But aside the point,
I'm pretty sure it's been FAQ'd, so
it must have been because because I think the separatists ignore enough crits for Grievous. So I mean, and the impervium plating.
yeah. So it looks like we have a concussion bomb.
Ooh.
Nasty.
To be honest, I think it's more likely that Quinn's going to hit himself with a concussion bomb.
Oh, I think it's almost guaranteed that Quinn's going to hit himself there. It all just comes down to, does he manage to hit any of the phantoms? Rampage is getting hit by that. There's no way he can get out of
that. To be honest, it's very likely that Warden Squadron's going to bump into the phantoms and then...
Yeah. I think it's going to be bump into blue. Will the Sigmas be able to actually maintain formation, though? That's the thing.
It might be that one's left behind and takes the damage from the bomb, but I do like skill bombardier on with concussion bombs, but I think if you want to go full safety precautions, put on delay fuses just in case. Because once you launch one, you have to launch the rest.
True. I mean, that's one of the interesting things about concussion bombs is when you've got one spent charge, you then have to keep dropping them until they're all gone.
Damage they can do is not very nice because
it's a straight face down damage card.
It's a face down damage card, or you can gain it's a face up unless you choose to gain a strain, so then it's face down.
Yeah.
It is not the nicest damage card.
No, and I quite like that. It's definitely a powerful card there.
And now
there's that bump.
There's the bump, yeah.
So looking at that, I think regardless, unless Green Sigma has done a move that's not a straight or a K, he's bumping regardless what he does.
You might be able to squirrel a 3 bank.
Oh, I think a bank maneuver would work, but I think if it's a straight maneuver, it's a bump.
What's the speed of the K turn with the Sigma Squadrons?
So the Sigma Squadron's K turn, you are looking at either a 3 or a 4.
Okay. Ooh.
So we've got a 3 from blue. So that fits through quite nicely. So if we're thinking that they're trying to stay in formation, that means that green is going to be doing a 3, which is definitely not clearing, and orange is going to be tight with orange.
Why does blue have a focus and no stress?
I'm pretty sure that'll get picked up in a second. Yep, there we go.
It has.
Picked up in a second.
I guess because you've been giving them focuses and evade the entire game, you'll get used to it, and then you bump.
You just get so used to doing that sometimes that.
See,
I never claimed to be a pro player.
No, neither do I. I think I either hit my own ships by just knocking them, or I just bump into them. So it's always a fun situation. Oh, doing the white barrel roll, but
do the white barrel? No.
Is that enough to save you? I doubt it. Doesn't look like it.
Definitely not enough to save me there.
No. See, I wonder if it's worth. I mean, I know this is the whole point of Quintless as being a triple K wing, but I wonder if it's worth changing the Warden Squadron to something a bit more maneuverable, like wedge in an X-wing. I quite like. You're only a few points off having Luke, but Luke's 61 now, which is
So you're saying drop the Warden Squadron, so you have Asiki and Miranda as like your bombers, your sort of harrying force, and then you have that flanker in Wedge.
I mean, you could even throw in Jake in the A-wing and a headhunter or Captain Rex in the TIE fighter,
Yeah,
just to add, just because having those small, squishy ships are just great to just squirrel your way around the field and just
yeah, absolutely.
annoy the opposition.
Definitely. So what we've got there is face down damages on Green and Rampage, and also on to the Green Warden Squadron there, taking the strain because taking the strain because, oh, you know what? I don't want crits. Thank you very much.
No, I think they're not the best.
No, and especially on a ship like the Phantom, you definitely don't want them to be in a position where they're stressed. The pilot ones are really damaging. You definitely don't want to double damage because suddenly, I mean, how would that work? If you get a double damage but you still got 2 shields,
your hull when your hull hits 0, that's when you go.
That is interesting. Never even thought about that before.
It was actually, I remember in first edition, when you went over an astral, you would be a damage card.
Yeah.
Or whatever you rolled. So if you rolled a crit and you'd got a direct hit, if you're flying the Grand Inquisitor, your Grand Inquisitor is no longer there.
Yeah. Not good at all.
No, but luckily they've now retconned that, so it's now onto shields. But
yeah,
with something like concussion bombs,
that's 4 hits there from Blue, spending 1 with Deadeye.
Ooh.
And that's a lot of cards on the Warden Squadron there.
That's Blue's long gone. No.
Bye-bye, Warden Squadron. To be honest, in that situation where you have 2 Phantoms at range 1 and a Rampage there, you weren't really expecting him to last very long.
Yeah, that was expected. But, I mean, Miranda doesn't have many hit points. Well, she does. She's a K-Wing, but she doesn't have many hit points left. But Sigi's got is still on full health. But
still on full health.
She hasn't been able to use her ability, so...
No. And I think what's a little bit frustrating on my side now is the formation is broken. So, and if you look at the Blue and Green Phantom in their positioning, they're not really going to want to be decloaking to board left into the middle of the board because that's going to put them in a really awkward place with that rock. But also, they're at that range where they can't decloak through each other.
Yeah, I know. Did Green do a 3K as well?
Yes, so he should have a stress.
Yeah, I think you'll pick up on it in a minute.
Hopefully, yeah.
If not, Quinn wins. No, I'm joking. But I feel Quinn's in the position where both K-Wings can just suddenly group together and now apply some heavy hitting force.
Yeah, because if you get them together with the utility they've got, I mean, if you have Miranda hand soloing, then multi-missile pods, with then Asigi doing barrage rockets right after, that's a lot of pain coming in there.
I think it's worth using multi-missile pods even if you don't have them in bullseye.
Yeah.
Because you have them in front up, which means you roll 3 dice, which is better than their normal.
Yeah, better than their normal 2 attack. So it's definitely a really good idea there. Well, I think that's the thing with a K-Wing is, although they might not have the biggest gun, if you can get it right, they can hit really hard. I mean, if we go back to that first game of the channel, which I had with Quinn, 2 Warden Squadrons managed to rip through a Sarge Ventress because at every point they were in a really good position to get their shots. I mean, yes, they did drop 2 bombs onto a Sarge, which helped. But
yeah, I just think it's worth having SCG and Miranda meet up so they can just share everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're definitely a ship they're ships that you want to have in some form of formation, or at least pointing in the same direction.
Yeah. I think it's just. Does Miranda's ability work on all attacks or just primary attacks?
Let's have a quick look. I think it may be all attacks.
Because that means you could have a multi-missile pod with 5 dice if you line up in the bullseye.
Oh, it's only a primary attack, so...
Okay, so... But that still works with Han Solo, so...
It still works with Han Solo, yeah. So that, again, can be quite good. I think that's one of the powerful things with Miranda is her ability to get those shields back.
I think the only way other ships can get shields back is with R2-D2 as a crew member. Well, especially in the Rebels.
Yeah, I think one of the difficult things that Miranda could potentially get 2 shields back, but she'd have to have ships on either side of her, because with Han, if she shoots out of one arc, she then can't shoot out of it again. She'd have to shoot out the other side. So, and I know that I've now got one Phantom facing the wrong way, but I don't think I'd ever really been in a position where I would be coming at Miranda with my Phantoms from 2 different angles like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not being able to decloak there with green and blue has kind of thrown a little spanner into the works a little bit. I mean, luckily I'm in a position where I'm far enough away that it shouldn't have too much of an impact that quickly, but it's definitely not a position you want to be in. You'd like to have more freedom with what you're doing.
I think in a round like this, you sort of want to be cloaked because you're going to be shot at from a range. So just having the extra dice.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's not missiles, then that's 5 evade dice there, which, as any ace player using stealth device knows, 5 dice always fail.
It always does. You never know why. It's always you're going to roll 5 blanks or 5 eyes when you don't have a focus.
Yeah.
Always happens.
I mean, the green dice, they're fickle. I mean, the red dice are just better. Red ones roll harder.
It's because it's a 33% chance to get an evade if you have no mods.
Yeah.
So, not the best. It's a third. So, the other time you will, it's not good. Especially if so.
I mean, there's lots of people that have done the maths on evade dice and taking the evade action over a focus action. I like maths, but not that much.
I wouldn't. I was just interested to see so I did it because I was bored, and I just decided what is the chance of getting this, that, or the other. So, but apart from that, it's just interesting to say. It makes you sound intelligent.
Or an absolute nerd.
Yeah, all that. But
we're here commentating on X-Wing. We're
playing a Star Wars game, so what makes much difference?
Yeah.
I was expecting Blue to keep his cloak, but to do a barrel roll is quite interesting because you're sort of forcing Rampage to bump.
Yeah, but I think with Rampage, he's the slower of the ships, and I think he would have still bumped anyway.
Yeah, but I think it was getting to a point where if you bumped and you just had that one part of your base on the edge off the board, that would be very upsetting.
It would have been upsetting, yes, absolutely. I mean, I'd like to say I'm quite thankful. I don't think I think I might have only flown off the board once.
Was that with that scum pilot who allows you to fly off the board and reappear?
No, it was actually first edition. I was running the Ghost. I was doing the super cheeky TLT Ghost with I can't remember what it was. The one where you could basically just shoot for days, and it was absolutely hilarious. But I was in a corner and I got ionized and stressed.
Yeah.
So I had to go one forward. Then I was stressed, which meant that I was like, well, no matter what happens now, I'm off the board. I can't go anywhere. It was rather upsetting.
Yeah, I think I've flown off the board once by accident. I'm proud to say I don't do it often.
So let's have a look. Are we going to get any shots here? I don't believe so. I believe Miranda slammed in, so...
No, back to Dark. I mean, it's a weird... who brought which obstacle? Because there are 3 gas clouds, so I'm guessing one person brought all 3 of them, or...
I believe that I put 2 rocks and a gas cloud down.
Okay. But, okay, that makes more sense, because then Quinn would have brought 2 gas clouds, and when you're flying 3 medium ships, you sort of want to have the safety wheels of having gas clouds instead of asteroids.
Yeah.
Debris cloud, slightly weird, because that gives you a stress, but...
I mean, I'm a big fan of the gas cloud. I do like it, because it, as you said, it's almost like a training wheels obstacle. Like,
Yeah.
if you fly over it, you're not going to hurt your ship. You might get a strain, but also if you're being shot at it from the other side, you get that old school auto thrusters benefit. So it's a very interesting one there. So we've got the decloak from blue and green orange, bumped, and did not recloak. And again, I think we have another situation for Quinn where the lower initiative pilot is in the back, which is not where he wants it to be.
I know, I'm yet to fly Biggs, but I feel like I would have him at the back though, even though he's a low initiative.
Yeah, I mean, with his ability though, you kind of want him to, like, if he bumps, it means he's going to be close with you. So,
I think especially with a siege, you want to be as far back as well as you don't want to bump, because you want to use Perceptive Copilot to share your focuses. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Perceptive Copilot on CG is a very good option, especially if he's got Miranda in range. It's going to really help her. I mean, she's obviously already gained her Calculate from K2SO, so now this means that she could go in and target lock instead.
Yeah, because that means you have all the aggressive modifications.
Focus, Calculate, target lock, that's just a force to be reckoned with. And you've got your double shot there, you've got your Han Solo, and then your multi-missiles. Yeah, powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Miranda goes, though. Will she turn in and hope for the bullseye, or will she just do a 1 forward to hope to get as many ships in arc as possible?
Yeah. I think if it was me, I don't know, because 1 forward, although you're going to get as many ships in arc as possible, it means you're more than likely going to be in more ships' arcs. So, but we will see. I don't think there's any really nice place for Miranda to be going there.
No.
I mean, if she does it too hard, it's a 1 forward.
Yeah. In what direction is that arc facing though? So
her arc is front and back.
Okay, so if it was side to side, I'll be slightly worried.
Yeah, if it was side to side, I think she would actually miss everything.
And she'll have to, but she has the focuses, so if doing a rotate wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, but I think here you're going to definitely want to look at. So definitely just go focus, calculate. I see she's keeping his own focus there, so going to get a range 1 Han Solo shot onto blue. Debating the shield.
Yeah.
Debating spending the shield or regaining the shield. Also, just having a look at see who else has arc towards Miranda.
Yeah, Rampage has a calculate though, so
Yeah.
synced laser cannons are going to be quite lethal.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going range 1 into blue, 3 hits.
Oh.
2 eyes, spending the focus, so that's 1 hit on blue.
Okay.
That's 1 shield down there. So spreading that damage around as well, which I think is something that's hurting Quinn a bit, like the little damage he's been able to get in has not been concentrated, where I was able to concentrate a lot stronger on one at a time.
He hasn't been able to get half points on any of your ships, so he's sat on 0 points.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
So we've got sync laser cannons. Hit, crit, crit.
Ooh, that is...
Oh,
he got the evade.
He got an evade, so that's 1 crit. And that crit was direct hit.
Oh, of course it is. Always is.
Yeah. So now
Whenever
you've got...
you least want a direct hit is when you get it.
Yeah. So... looks like green is out of range.
I mean, he should be, because he still has a strain where he should be stressed, so...
Yeah. So we've got range 1 from blue into Miranda.
Ooh.
And that's in bullseye as well, so...
Oh, no.
No focus token, though, so... although with a roll like that, you don't need a focus token.
What? Your dice are great today.
Yeah, I mean... I said it to Quinn. I was like, I'm really sorry, mate. I mean, obviously it's going well for me, but I felt so bad because
he's getting blanks. It'll get to the point where you're rolling so well, you just want to say, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it's really nice when everything's going your way. Like you love it and it's great, but also, you know. You're playing with
another person.
Yeah, you're playing with another person, and you kind of want them to have fun as well. You don't want them to walk away from the table, especially in a casual game. You don't want them to walk away from the table and just be like, I never want to play or see that person ever again. You're like, no, like you want them to have fun as well. I mean, There we go, 3 blanks.
No, I mean, I think the damage is done.
Yeah.
Miranda's dead.
I mean, she does get simultaneous fire, though, with multi-missile pods, so he does get to use them. I believe Quinn was a little bit disappointed he didn't get to use the diamond boron missiles, but he is going to get to use his multi-missile pods here. And I think he's going to go for blue, because blue has already suffered A damage.
See, I am guessing that you changed the crit to a hit with the Deadeye shot, and that re-exposed the direct hit.
No, the direct hit was actually from the damage from the previous shot. So that was just 3 straight damage, 1 evade, no evades. So, and so
more blanks.
More blanks. So taking some damage there.
It's a CG against the world.
Yeah, a CG versus the world.
I mean, I feel this is how most rebel pilots feel. It's like, well, most of my friends are dead. I might as well join the Empire.
Which is ironic because most of them left the Empire.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great episode of Rebels. I would love to see Wedge in an A-Wing. Or like a young Wedge with a different ability.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we'll have to wait for the Phoenix Squadron pack to come out and see what we get there.
Well, it's the Rebel A-Wing is one of the ships that just needs new pilots. I mean, Jake is great, but it just needs an I-5.
It needs Tycho back.
I remember him. What was his ability?
I would have to dig out that card.
Oh, it'll be somewhere in a pile. I can Google it now.
I mean, I know exactly where the card is, but I'm not. That would mean having to go away and find it. But I mean, the Rebel A-Wing could do. I mean, you look at how many pilots there are for the Resistance A-Wing.
Loads. They keep getting them.
Yeah. It's like, what do the Resistance need? More ships? No, more A-Wing pilots. I mean, they should just essentially say, this is the A-Wing faction, not anything else. Although their T-70s, they've got some really good T-70 pilots as well.
Yeah.
I think it makes up for the fact that the their bomber is
Huge.
pretty much seen as terrible.
Benny season play. She's a weird one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even have that ship, which is a bit of a shame. It's really hard to get hold of as well.
Gold dust. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost as rare as a U-wing.
Right, so Asigi versus the world, and we have a one bank in, which is prime for the Phantoms just to swoop in. Classic Perceptive co-pilot. And big talon roll there from Rampage just to turn himself around just in case he needs to come back and sweep up later.
Okay. Risking the asteroid next round and not getting a shot.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, talon rolls are cool. Especially on a big ship like that, you kind of don't expect it. But when you see we've got... So there's one range, one shot from a Phantom. No bullseye.
Oh, here we are. Found Tycho.
Oh,
You may
okay.
perform actions even while you have a stress token.
That's it. It was the stress chain.
I wonder how that will pair with linked actions. Yeah, he was at initiative 8, so that would have been
I5.
I5, I4, yeah.
Well, it'd be I5 potential I6, but more likely an I5, I reckon.
Yeah. That's something like that in an A-wing. That'd be great.
Yeah. So Asigi's in an interesting position. 3 Phantoms at range 1, 1 with a bullseye.
She has no way to shoot twice, so
No.
she's more likely to kill the Sigma Squadron because then crits can go through. They're all Sigma Squadron. I meant blue.
Yeah. Well, that's hit, crit.
Oh.
Spending the focus for 1, so that's shield's gone. I'm not going to lie, my dice have been...
Vicious is the correct word.
Yeah.
I think
they've been absolutely brutal.
the TIE Phantom is one of those ships that you have. It's known as like the cloaking ship, but you never have it cloaked. You always have it cloaked as an extra move.
Yeah, and there's 2 hits and a crit there, and that's a blank.
Oh,
So
I just want Quinn to do well now.
Yeah, hit, crit, and it was a hull breach.
Oh no. Yeah, I think this is the last round of shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So hit, crit, blank. So that's crit.
I don't know.
Because of the hull breach.
That sounds like a lot of crits.
Yeah, that is a lot of crits. If we have a look and see how many... So we have a direct hit, which goes to a damaged sensor array, a console fire, and a stunned pilot.
I think the pilot's more than stunned. I think the pilot has been ripped to shreds.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that worked out really well for me, but I do feel bad for Quinn there. I mean, he did a really good job with those K-Wings, and his dice just betrayed him horribly. So GG to Quinn there. So
the K-Wings is a weird one, but it certainly can take some firepower.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it was a great game to play. I did feel bad for Quinn and his dice, but what I like about flying against Quinn is seeing what lists he's going to bring to the table, because they're always interesting. There's always something fun in there to see. Yeah. So
I think the Fen Rao one we played recently was Fen, Ezra, and Sheepapeds, and Cassian in a U-wing. So all the support ships. So it was very interesting. It was a fun one to play against. I think Cassian just wouldn't die. Kept rolling 2 evades.
Nice. Quinn could have done with that just there.
Yeah, he could have.
But Anyway, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap it up there. Fergus, thank you very much for coming along to watch that game with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
But again, thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, please do like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.